Hello guys, welcome to OS x86 Devs. Today we're going to learn how to install macOS Mojave 10.14.2 on the Lenovo Z570. In this process we're going to create a double boot for this computer. So we're going to have Windows, which is in this USB, and Mac, which is in this other one. You don't necessarily need two USBs. You can only use one if you only have one. So you can just restore Mac to the USB, install Mac, and then restore Windows to the USB. This other process is optional too. I mean, installing Windows, if you only want to have Mac in this computer, then you can definitely do it, and it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. We don't really have to change much to have both operating systems working. But let's start. The first thing we have to do is that we have to boot the computer and we have to go to the BIOS. So we're going to press the power button, and then when the menu shows, we're going to press F2. We're going to go to the configuration tab and we're going to make sure the USB legacy is enabled. Wireless can be enabled or disabled. If you enable wireless, then you're going to be able to use it in Windows, because you have to know that this card is not going to work. And you can use a USB Wi-Fi dongle. I would suggest you to do that. It's the easiest option, because Lenovo, they have a blacklist of devices that they don't allow you to use in your computer. So in order for you to be able to use any other compatible Wi-Fi card, then you have to mod the BIOS, and that is somehow a difficult process, and it's dangerous because you can break your laptop by following that process. But if you want to do it, then you have to search on the web, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to find something regarding to that. So like I said, wireless, if you leave it enabled, you're going to be able to use it in Windows if you have dual boot. If you're just going to use Mac in this computer, then you can just disable this one because it's not going to work. The SATA controller working mode has to be set as AHCI. The power bit, it's optional, and the Intel virtual technology, it's actually optional. So here in the boot tab, you have to make sure that your USB is set as the first option. You can just choose your USB here and just press F6 to make it the first option. If you press F5, then you are going to move it down, but just press F6 to make it the first boot option, because we are going to be booting from the USB until we install Clover on the hard drive, so that we can actually boot from the hard drive. But for now, all we have to do is that we have to set our USB as the first boot option. So now we're just going to go to exit, and then just make sure to exit saving changes, save configurations and exit, yes. So once we boot from our USB and into the Clover bootloader, we have to go to options, we have to go to boot args, we have to hit enter, and we have to type dash no underscore compat underscore check. Then hit enter, then just go to SM BIOS, and in the product name where it says MacBook Pro 8.1, instead of 8 you're going to type 11. Hit enter, and then the same where it says board version, just erase the 8 and type 11, and that's it. We have to make those two changes in the SM BIOS, then we go to return. And finally we go to binary patching, and we're going to select the option that says Apple Intel CPU PM patch. Then we go to return, we go to return once again, and now we have to boot from the option that says boot macOS install from Mac, install macOS Mojave, and just hit enter. You have to wait until the installer finishes loading. You have to remember the process for you to create this USB installer. You can follow that one by going to the OS x86 Devs channel and you can follow the video that is called how to create a High Sierra USB installer in Windows. And even though it says High Sierra, it's the same. All you have to do is that you have to download the Mojave file that I'm going to be sharing with you in the description. So all you have to do is just to choose the Mojave file to restore it to the USB. Also, you have to remember that the reason why we use the flag and we change the SNVIOS options is because when you don't use the compat check, then it's going to run a compatibility check, and it's going to find that the hardware of this computer is not compatible, and it's going to give you an error message, and it's not going to let you either boot from the installer or install macOS on the computer. That's the reason why we have to change the board version and the product name to another version where macOS Mojave 10.14.2 it's actually compatible. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to go to disk utility, then just click on continue. Once in disk utility, we're going to go to view and we're going to choose the option that says show all devices. Here's my hard drive, which is the Samsung SSD. So we're going to click on erase. You can name your drive anything you want. I'm going to name mine Mojave. And for the format, it's going to be APFS because it's an SSD and that is the best format for a solid state drive. The scheme is going to be GUID partition map. So you're just going to click erase. You're going to wait. Make sure that it finishes successfully, then just click on done and then click on partition. Once again, click on partition and press on the plus button. You can name this other partition anything you want. This is going to be the one for Windows, so I'm just going to name mine Win10, and then for the format I'm just going to select exFAT. Then just click on apply, then click on partition. It's the same with this one. Make sure that it finishes successfully and then just click on done. Now we can just close disk utility and we can click on install macOS and click on continue. Now just click on continue, click on agree, and click on agree once again for the terms of the software license agreement. Now as you can see, we have our Mojave partition, which is where we are going to install macOS Mojave on. So just choose the Mojave option and click on install. The computer is going to restart several times. Remember that we have to boot from the USB installer until we install Clover on the hard drive. If you get an error, don't worry, it's actually normal. The computer might turn off, and if it does, all you have to do is just to start the computer again. You're going to boot to the USB the same way. We're going to choose the same options. For the boot args, we're going to type dash no underscore compat underscore check. Then we're going to go to SNVIOS. Remember, you have to change 11 in here, and the same for the board version. Then go to return and go to binaries patching, and then go to Apple Intel CPU PM patch. Select that option and go to return. Go to return once again, and we have to boot from the third option or just the option that says boot macOS install from Mojave. Remember to have your computer plugged to the charger all the time, because if you run out of battery, the computer might turn off, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure to just keep the computer plugged into the charger all the time. As you can see, the computer restarted, but that is normal. You have to do the same thing once again. Just go to SNVIOS, just change the option, just change in the SNVIOS. Also go to boot args, no compat check, Binaries patching and Apple Intel CPU PM patch, and boot from the third option. As you can see, it's just giving us right now an estimated time for the installation. It says about 12 minutes. It might take less than that, or it might take more than that. Just have to be patient. The computer might restart more times, and if it does, just make sure to use the same boot options. As you can see, the computer just restarted. Now use the same options. No compat check. Change the SM BIOS info and go to binaries patching. Apple Intel CPU PM patch. Return. We are not going to boot from the same option. We have to look for the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. You have to boot from that option. Okay, so now we're in the last part of the installation process. So you have to choose your location, then just click on continue. Choose your keyboard layout. You have to choose the option that says my computer does not connect to the Ethernet. Then just click on continue. Click on continue once again. Click on continue on the data and privacy. Don't transfer any information now. Accept the terms and conditions. Click on agree. Choose any name. It requires a password, but you can change it later, or you can just choose later not to ask for the password when you boot. So yeah, just click on continue for now. Now click on customize settings. This is optional, but I prefer to do it like this. I don't want to enable the location, so I'm not gonna choose that one. I choose don't use. Just choose your time zone, and I'm not going to share analytics with Apple, so I'm just going to uncheck those two options, and I'm just going to click on continue. Here you have the option to use the light and the dark mode that it's in Mojave. I'm going to use the dark mode, so I'm just going to click on continue. So yeah, we have successfully installed in our computer the operating system. If we go to about this Mac, we can see the information of this computer, but as you can see, for the graphics it only says 3 megabytes. The reason why it's only showing 3 megabytes, it's because this graphics card is not compatible. I mean, the graphics card is compatible, but not for this version of macOS. So we're going to have to add some keys to make it work. But as you can see, it's actually telling us what kind of CPU we have, which is an iCore 5, 2.49 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes of RAM, which was what we upgraded this computer to in the previous video. So okay, now we're just going to install Windows in this computer. To do so, we have to plug in the laptop, the Windows USB installer, and we have to boot from it. So we have to restart our computer. When it restarts, you have to press F12 so that we can get the boot menu, and we're going to boot from the USB that we know it's the Windows installer. Make sure that you install this 64-bit version, so just wait until the installer finishes loading. Click on install now. I don't have a product key right now. Choose the version you want to install. I'm going to install the Windows 10 Pro version. Click on next. Obviously this menu is going to depend on the Windows installer that you have. So okay, accept the license terms, click on next. And now just for the which installation do you want, click on custom. So what we have to do now is that we have to select the Windows 10 partition, which is the partition that we created before. So you have to format this option because it was in the exFAT format, and we have to give this the NTFS format. So you have to click on format and then just click on OK. Now as you can see, it's going to let us install, so just click on next and wait until the installation process finishes. For this one you don't have to do nothing else but wait until the installation finishes and you get to the customization part. So as you can see, now we're in the customization part. We're gonna turn off Cortana. I don't want her talking to me. So just choose next. So you have to choose your location and click next. Now we have to choose the keyboard layout and then click on yes. I don't want to add a secondary one. I'm not going to connect to the internet, so I just clicked on escape for now. Now just type any name and click on next. I'm not going to create a password, so just click next. I don't want Cortana and I don't want none of these options enabled, so I'm just going to disable all of these options. Just going to click on accept. Now we just have to wait a little bit until the computer finishes applying the settings that we just selected. Now you can just unplug your USB from the computer. We're just going to wait until the computer finishes here so we can eject it, and then you can just plug in the Mojave installer USB. Okay, it is almost there. Okay. Since I plugged in the other USB, it's saying that if I want to format, just click on cancel and eject the Windows USB. Okay, now all we have to do is that we have to restart our computer. Remember to unplug the Windows USB, otherwise it's going to boot to that one, and this time we're going to press F2 real fast because otherwise it's just going to go to Windows, and then we're going to go to the boot tab and we're going to make sure to choose our USB as the first option. Then we're going to exit saving changes. We're going to go to options, binary patching. We're going to select Apple Intel CPU PM patch, and also in the boot arcs, the no compat check flag. Now we can just boot to the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. Remember, we're using the USB installer to be able to boot right now because we haven't added nothing to the FE folder or to the system library extensions folder, so right now we need to do it one more time. So type in your password. I don't know how you're going to transfer the necessary files, if you're gonna do it through another USB, but once you have the necessary kex files in here, the folder with those files, you have to go to the system folder, library, and extensions folder. So here is how we're going to make our graphics card work. As you can see, if we go to about this Mac, look at the information, it's just going to say 3 megabytes, but we're going to change this now, and this is because the latest version that supported Intel Graphics 3000 was macOS Sierra, and High Sierra and Mojave do not support this graphics card. So for example, if you wanted to install macOS High Sierra, you would have to follow the same process. So all we have to do is just to install all of this kex. As you can see, this is the Apple Intel HD 3000 graphics kex, which, like I said before, you're only going to find it on Sierra. You're not going to find this on Mojave or High Sierra. Therefore, I had to get this kex from the Sierra installer, but I'm going to share this with you in the folder with all the necessary files. Now, you have to get all of these tools. We're going to install this one. We're going to click on continue. Continue once again. Continue. Change install location. We're going to make sure that we're installing to our hard drive, right? So it's gotta be the one that's called Mojave. Then you click on continue, and then you click on customize. You have to make sure that you have selected the first two options, and for the UEFI drivers you have to select the first ones are going to be already checked, so the only two you have to check are APTIO memory fix 64 and APFS driver loader 64. Once you have selected those four options, then you can click on install. You type in your password and then you click on install software. Once it's finished, we're going to click on close, and the FE partition, it's supposed to be mounted already, but for now we just wanted to install Clover. So now we're going to open Kex utility, we're going to type in our password, and it's going to start repairing the permissions for the system library extensions folder, and we're just going to drag and drop all of these kegs which are going to be installed in the system library extensions folder. We just drag and drop them. We have to wait a little bit until it asks for the password so that we can install the kegs. Those are the ones that are going to be in that folder. Now we just go back and we go to the FE folder, then to the Clover folder, then to the kegs folder. We go to other. Okay, perfect. So let's just wait a little bit until it asks for the password. Okay, perfect. So type in your password, then hit OK or install, and just wait for this to finish. You can minimize it for now. So we're just going to open that FE partition that was automatically mounted. We're going to open the FE folder, then the Clover folder. We're going to go to kegs, we're going to go to other, and we're going to copy all of the files from the other folder that we provided you. You're gonna copy this to the other folder in the FE partition that was mounted. Now we're going to go to, we can close this other folder now. Open this config file, just double click it. If you have the Clover configurator app in the computer, then it's going to open automatically with this app. If not, then you have to make sure to open with this app. We're going to go to kernel and kex patches. We're going to select Apple Intel CPU PM, and we're going to boot. Where it says custom flags, we're going to add the no compat check flag. No compat check. Remember, you have to type it exactly the way it is, otherwise it's not going to work. So that's all we have to add in here. So let's just go to file, then just click on save, and then just quit Clover configurator. It's going to tell you that the document is in a volume that does not support permanent version storage. Just click on OK. It's still going to save that, so don't worry about that. Perfect. So right now we can just restart our computer, and you have to make sure to remove the USB from the computer so it can start to the Clover bootloader from the hard drive in your computer, which is what happened just now. I didn't have to add anything at all. I just type in my password, go to about this Mac, and we're going to be able to see 512 megabytes of video in the Intel HD Graphics 3000. So that means that we have graphics acceleration working right now, and we're going to be able to use all of the applications that need that. The audio, that is the next thing that we're going to fix. We're going to go to the tools, we're going to open Apple HDA patcher, we're going to go to laptops, and we're going to look for the one that says Realtek ALC 272. Then we're just going to click on patch Apple HDA. Remember that if by any reason you were doing something and you removed the Apple HDA that was in the system library extensions folder, then this application is not going to work, because this application needs to have your Apple HDA kext so you can patch that one and create a new one from there. So let's go to System Library Extensions. I guess I deleted mine, pretty sure of that. So yeah, I have the keys here in the trash. So I'm just going to drag this into the desktop, and I'm just going to transfer this one to the extensions folder. I'm not going to use this kex utility because I'm just going to have this for a moment, just so this other app can actually patch the kex, which we're going to remove soon. So we click in there, and the reason why I'm doing all of this, you're not going to have to do this if you haven't removed the Apple HDA kex. But if by any chance you did it, maybe knowing or not knowing, then this is how you have to do it. So once you click on patch Apple HDA and all of this text shows, then you can just close the app. We're going to remove this Apple HDA kex now, and we are going to go to this folder that was created in the desktop that is called Miron Audio. We're going to go to the HDA enabler folder. You can use a different option to enable audio in this computer, but this is the easiest option, so let's use this one. All you have to do is install this kex with kex utility. This one you do have to install with kex utility because it's important. The other was just to use it in the moment, but this is just to stay there, so we have to use kex utility so it can repair the permissions. So type in your password and drag and drop the HDA enabler kex in the kex utility application, then go back to the Miron Audio folder and go to the first folder, our audio codec. Then open the folders and go to the folder that says full patched Apple HDA, and you're going to drag and drop this one into the kex utility app as well. Just wait until the computer asks for the password. You can just close any other folders for now. Okay, perfect. So now just type in your password, and it's going to start repairing the permissions for the kex that we're installing. If you do it separately, it's going to ask for the password 2 times. Type in your password once again, click OK, and wait until it finishes repairing the permissions. Okay, perfect. So it says now all done, have a nice day. Perfect. So all we have to do now is just click on restart, boot from the option that says boot macOS from Mojave. This is the one that you're going to be using from now on. You're not going to be needing to use or add any flag. Those are no longer necessary for you. So just type in your password and we are all set. As you can see, there's audio now. So you can press the FN key plus the right arrow for more volume, or to lower the volume you can just press the FN and the left arrow key on your keyboard, and you're going to be able to control the audio with this tool. Also, we can just go to system preferences for you to be able to hear a sound and press any of these sounds, and you can listen to the sounds in there. There's output and there's also input. As you can see while I'm talking, you can see the movement. It works. So we can just go back, we can go to display, and we can control the brightness for the screen. Here, as you can see, it goes completely black. You can just change that in here. You can change the resolution as well. We have audio working, we have the touchpad, the keyboard. As you can see, we can just type hello. We can just type with no problems in here. If you go to about this Mac, you're going to be able to see the information of this computer, which is recognized as a MacBook Pro with 8 gigabytes of RAM and Intel graphics 3000 with 512 megabytes of video memory. So let me show you the Ethernet connection now. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you right now how the connection to the internet works. So you can see it. Obviously you have to use your LAN cable because the Wi-Fi card that this laptop has is not compatible. So I'm saying this because like in the previous video that I uploaded, some people ask how can you fix the Wi-Fi. You have to pay attention because you have to, not just because of what I'm telling you in the video, but because you have to know your hardware. And you have to know, for example, that if it's an Intel Wi-Fi card, then it's not going to work because there is simply no CAX right now for Intel Wi-Fi card. It's just not going to work. So you have to either replace the Wi-Fi card, but as the previous video, this one too, the Lenovo laptops have a blacklist on their motherboard, which makes it almost impossible for us to easily be able to use another Wi-Fi card. You can do it, yes, but it's not something easy to do. You must have knowledge, because if you just do that not knowing what you're doing, you can break your laptop and you're going to end up with a bigger problem. So my suggestion, which is always the easiest option, is just to use a Wi-Fi dongle. Once you connect the LAN cable, if we just go to Google, we just go to YouTube. Obviously we have this connected, the Bluetooth. So when I play the sound, as you can see, it's coming out from my Bluetooth speaker because it's connected. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say with that is that yes, it works. The Bluetooth, the video, it works. Pretty much everything. The only things that do not work are the Wi-Fi, the HDMI audio, because the video works, the HDMI video works, but it doesn't work with audio. So you would have to use a different way to connect to the audio, perhaps Bluetooth, or just use the 3.5 audio jack connector in the computer. Remember that it's important for you to understand how all of these things work, because that way in the future, if you ever need to update this computer, then you can do it on your own. Let's just go real fast to the App Store and let's see if there is any update. I guess that what I'm trying to say is that it's in, or let's go to software update and let's see if there is something in here. It says that it's up to date. We're up to date, perfect. The point is that the update, it's really easy. If you ever need to update, you can just ask me and I'm going to try to help you with that. It's really easy. All you have to understand is that when you update your computer, it reinstalls everything else, because all that it does is that it runs the installer once again. Therefore it overrides everything that you have added. So for example, we had to add the Apple HDA and the HDA enabler to the system library extension folder. So if we were to update this computer right now, we could do it and we would have no problems at all. We would be able to boot this computer after the update with almost no problems. Why? Because the Apple HDA CAX is a CAX that it's in the system library extensions folder, and not just that, but also that it has a different name, that it has the name of one of the files that already come with the operating system. Therefore it would automatically override that file with the one from the update. Now if you have a CAX that is not from Apple, then that would not be updated. Therefore it would remain intact in the folder. but all other kexts, for example the Intel HD graphics 3000, perhaps those could be deleted, and that's the reason why you always must have a backup of those kexts that you needed. Because I can provide you a link, but I'm not sure how long that link is going to stay up, and if for some reason I don't have the text, then you have to keep a copy of all of those texts of the installer that you used, and just understand the process for future reference. And it's also important to add that the FE folder is going to remain intact regardless of what updates you install on this computer on the Mac partition, because if you install something different in Windows, then it could somehow damage the FE partition, and it could delete something in there. So you have to know what you're doing. Right now both operating systems are working with no problems. Another important thing to mention is that if for some reason when you install Clover, the Microsoft folder gets deleted, it's created automatically when you install Windows. So you have to make a copy of this folder in case it ever gets deleted. You're gonna be able to see it as soon as we finish installing Windows in this computer. So you have to do this before you install Clover bootloader, because otherwise it might delete this folder. I'm going to restart the computer now. You have to press F2, so we have to go to the setup. And here in the boot you have to use this your hard drive. In my case is a Samsung SSD, so this is going to be the first boot option, because if you use Windows Boot Manager or Mac OS X, it's not going to boot to Clover and it's going to just go to Windows. So you have to make sure to have selected that option. As you can see, when we just boot the computer, it's going to go directly to Clover, and we can either boot macOS from Mojave, or we can just boot Microsoft FE boot from FE, okay, which is Windows. So guys, once again, thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked it. Remember that I'm doing all of this just to be able to help you, and I'm trying to do it as the best way possible. I'm trying to explain as much as possible, but you have to know that just like any other thing, we are all always learning, and we always continue to learn. Also, I wanted to apologize because it took me a while to upload this video. I had already recorded the first part, but I wasn't able to complete it because obviously, the holidays and everything, I really didn't have time. And by the way, Happy New Year to all of you guys. I hope you have a wonderful year. And well, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our latest videos. And remember, if you have any questions, just leave your comment. I'm going to try to answer those questions as fast as possible. And hit the like button if you like the videos. So thank you guys. See you in the next time.